Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the D1NZ National Drifting Championship here from Baypark, round number 5. We are going to crown some champions today. Kenny Ruddle, technical commentator, on the microphone with me, Warren Sear, along with Stephen McIver and Keisuke Nagashima, bringing you all the action from here in the Bay. Plenty and Kenny, plenty already gone and been sorted out this morning in the Pro Sports, but we're about to get underway with the Pro 32. So we're about to step into the 265 semi-slick class. The big boys about to come out and play.
Yeah, so some of the guys just had their warm-up sight laps and filling out the group conditions out there. And it is a slip and slide, of course, today with the weather coming down and certainly serving up plenty of carnage so far. Although not some big sticks, but certainly a lot of cars in the wall earlier on this morning.
The good news is that the radar is clear, right? So the radar is now clear, we believe, for the rest of the day, which hopefully by the time we get through to the 16, the 8, then we'll move into our Pro Sport finals. Their top 8, they've still got a champion to be crowned. We should have plenty of smoke here filling Baypark, the concrete jungle. For those of you who did not join us this morning, in the Pro Sport top 8 at the moment, we have Blake Miles versus Daniel Edwards, Corbin Wilson versus Darren Murray, Isaac Aldridge versus Sam Rowson, and Dean Young versus Guy Maxwell, who is, of course, the birthday boy today. So that is 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the championship. As we're about to take a look at our monster trucks, making the best of the conditions out there on what is a pretty gluggy infield there, Kenny. That is Reaper, that is Taurus. We have Kiwi Thunder and we have Boss Hog, who are here to put on a bit of a demonstration for us this afternoon. See how things go for them. Obviously the conditions out there are pretty slippery, so not entirely sure how much grip they even have out there, Kenny, because the drivers on the concrete surface certainly don't have any, so who knows what wet grass is like.
First of our monster truck demonstrations this afternoon as part of our halftime entertainment.
Yeah, I noticed that Boss Hog's cage now too. Didn't have a roll cage on it last time we saw it, so
he was still keen to do a little jump or two.
Yeah, he accidentally ran over a couple of things, I believe. So the boys are just getting a feel for what the conditions are like out there at the moment to see if there is any grip available and what they're able to do. And I think I heard correctly that we've got three male driver, 1 female driver out there as well. So a bit of a change up for things. And for those of you who are wondering why this is part of the show, well, of course, we have a lot of younger fans who love monster trucks and all things big wheeled, etc. So this is like having giant Tonga toys on display. So Taurus, Reaper, Boss Hog and Kiwi Thunder out just having some fun, just exploring the surface, just trying to see what the conditions are like and what they are able to do this afternoon.
Now the black S13 Reaper chassis is the one that we hopefully, fingers crossed, will be able to see the backflip attempt later on this afternoon, but that is also dependent on how they feel out the session as well, the weather and everything going on, so hopefully we can see that backflip. But
if you listen to rumours as well, there's potentially some chassis damage on that truck as well, so I think they'll sort of feel it out and see what it does as Reaper and Taurus get some car crushing done. Apparently we are repairing.
Taurus was doing the big bounces at Manfield, wasn't it?
It wasn't supposed to be. Just there's a couple of great photos of one of our regular photographers, Mossy, who captured that thing, all 4 wheels, well and truly into the air. That crack, I'm pretty sure, is just somewhere there in the chassis, so hopefully it is able to do what it wants to do.
The Reaper used to be that chassis, I think, used to be the V Energy car back in the day. The V Energy monster truck.
I actually did
probably remember that from one of the TV ads many years ago.
I think I drove it. I think I actually drove it
probably
way back.
Foreign Rotors.
Yeah, way back in the day in my previous life within Foreign Rotary promotions. Yeah, did have a bit of involvement in that. Still involved in Foreign Rotary in the North Island as well. So we had Jamboree, we've had the Foreign Rotary Nationals, and some big changes coming within the spectrum of motorsport as well. A different type of. Did that just lose drive in the front?
Might have just been taking it easy. Taurus again.
Well, I guess there's no grip.
I mean, that thing was doing a lot of rides as well at Manfield. So many people managed to get a ride in that.
I hope that Ting toolbox stays safe, by the way. The podium prize out there on display. Hopefully we don't have a wayward monster truck find its way towards it.
Just joined us on the live stream. We are warming up for the Pro Championship Top 32 bracket with Adam Davies on pole after last night's qualifying efforts. Right behind him though was Luke Fink, and it was only what, 0.7 of a
borrowed car too.
Yeah, 0.7 behind in the scores. Luke Fink P2, our current series leader, and the home crowd this weekend. Team DSR.
$500 thanks to UDC Lightning Fast Loans 0800 623 623. You can see the monster trucks just making their way around the UDC teardrop at the moment. Reaper looks like he's lining up for a bit more of an aggressive launch this time. Can you see if he gets a bit more skyward?
We're getting some mega jumps down at Manfield and Mount Smart. It's a shame conditions today, but hopefully these guys will warm up to it. Boss Hog with the cage now too, so maybe he might have to do the backflip.
Well, I think you're mad to want to backflip one of these anyway, let alone trying to backflip an open top one, but I mean, they're monster truck drivers, so who knows where their level of sanity sits.
Taurus, of course, with the four-wheel steer in that car, so maybe that truck's a bit better on the slip and slide.
Yeah, it looks like Taurus maybe has had enough and is headed back to its holding pen. Reaper looks like it's lining up though. I think they said
entertaining but not good for the drifters.
But a terrible idea. Well, it's one of those things that seemed like a good idea. It's up there with Tony Gallagher saying he would never ever be a judge, and then going and being a judge. Right? It was a great idea while it lasted.
Some donuts from the JDM Reaper. So the guys out there, the monster truck demonstration, first demonstration for the afternoon, just having a bit of a warm up.
And we'll now dispatch Luigi to clean the track up where it's been sprayed with monster truck clod. Should we call it clod? I think that's what it is. It's a nice looking circle there. Look.
So Adam Davies, our top qualifier last night. The Team DSR 13B rotary powered machine, just ahead of Luke Fink in the V8 VIP car based out of the South Island. But Luke Fink piloting that machine this weekend. Sean Potros in third with a 95.6. Brody Marr, the SR Plenty, the 1,000 horsepower four-cylinder, is in fourth place with a 95.6. Connor Halligan, our last round winner at Manfield and former Pro Sport champion, 95.5 is your top five. Steedman, Woolhouse, Braden Mayer, Ethan Faithful and Jeremy Slammett round out your top 10. Ethan Faithful, one to watch out for, competing in the D1 WA series out of Australia. He's a former Kiwi. Well, he's been working over in Aussie for the last few years and drifting over in Western Australia.
All right, so just had a message coming through from the Stock Street crew. So there is an after party tonight. So if you want to join the D1NZ drivers for an after party, tickets available from the Thrill Motorsport stand down in the pit area. It is $100 for a ticket and includes 5 drinks. So if you would like to go to the after party tonight, spend some time with the D1NZ drivers, most likely a few members of the crew, etc., then go and see Thrill Motorsport down in the pits. $100 a ticket, and it gets you into the D1 after party tonight here in Tauranga. So Kenny, I believe that race control are telling us that there are no buy runs in this 32, just to try and make up, I imagine, a little bit of time, because we do have to go to our Sky TV KO broadcast at a set time. It's also the reason we end at a set time when we talk about time certainty within the context of an event. So we will try and get things underway. So that means any of the drivers who would not, who don't have a standing opponent for the 32, unlikely to be seen in the 32 round. Then we'll see them come out for the 16. So that would be Adam Davies, it would be Brodie Marr, it would be Luke Fink, it would be Sean Potros, that would be Connor Halligan, and those are the five. Those are the 5 drivers. Oh no, and Dave Steedman is the last one. So Dave Steedman is the 6th driver who doesn't have a 32 opponent, with a field here not quite reaching 32. So those drivers will sit out round number 1.
Another one to look out for this afternoon will be Ryusei Akiba.
Yeah, we haven't talked a lot.
Based out, from Japan. He's been drifting in Drift Masters. He just competed in the Irish Drift Series, Irish Drift Championship, I think only a week ago. Now is in New Zealand with brand new livery on the second Halligan S14. And that car is certainly one to look out for this weekend. Our international guest driver this weekend, Ryusei Akiba.
Filmed a special video, I believe, last week as well. Another one of the
is that a bit of Kiwi
project?
Toge?
Yeah, a bit of Kiwi Toge with Connor Halligan. So look out for that one.
Big shout out to everyone here at the track today. Hopefully you guys are nice and dry and ready to soak in the action tonight, the grand final here at Mercury Baypark Stadium. Shout out to everyone tuning in on Oversteer TV, live around wherever you are in the world. It's probably a late night or early morning for you guys, especially the Drift Masters fans who've crossed over to tune in. We've also got Formula Drift Japan, FDJ2 underway this weekend live at the moment. I think our honorary Kiwi, Australian Drift Squid, Jake Jones, is competing as well, because we've actually got the stream running in race control, so we've got all the different drift streams running at the same time. It's a good day for drifting around the world.
In the RB M3, the now red livery, isn't it?
Except for the cancellation of Drift Masters, I think I was a little bit gutted by that too, so I was really looking forward to that.
It interests me. I know you throw that at me as bait, right? But it does always interest me where people say, "Oh, this event's cancelled," and we go, "Well, hang on, a global religion just lost its figurehead, and you're upset that a car event was cancelled." So I think you got to put things in perspective. But we're here. We're having a good time at Baypark. It is round number 5 of the National Drifting Championship. Kenny and I will take you through the 32, and then Keske and Stephen McIver will join us probably from about the 16 onwards, and then we move, of course, over to our Sky TV, KO and Pacific Direct broadcast. We will still be right here on Oversteer TV, and of course Oversteer TV is the only place you can get involved via the live chat for subscribers only.
Do check out oversteertv.co.nz and subscribe to the YouTube channel for all the latest highlights. Check out our socials for all the behind the scenes action as well. We just posted up a whole bunch of onboards on our story on Instagram. Some awesome onboard stuff coming through from the drivers last night.
Just a reminder, if you are participating in the chat, we do love you guys being part of the show, being part of the atmosphere and getting involved, but keep it friendly, keep it fun, and keep it above board, because there are friends, family and commercial partners of our drivers who are tuned in, and we want to keep this a place that is suitable for all. So yeah, just keep it nice and fun, keep it nice and light. Let us know what you think though, let us know where you're tuned in from. We hope you're enjoying watching Luigi the Tractor try and clean the muck off the track that was sprayed by Reaper.
We've got some comments coming through. Is Keske Nagashima competing pro next year? He's got a build underway.
Yeah, he did. So
fingers crossed.
So because Keske's not in the room, right, we can throw him under the bus a little bit. So he did say that he had actually really enjoyed being part of the commentary, right? Like he was really positive about being part of the broadcast. He enjoyed particularly the live pit hosting, etc. But he'd rather be driving, right? Like he'd rather be driving.
I don't want to call Warren a liar, but I'm right here. And I think he's thinking it's April Fool's, to be honest with you.
Keske's just having some refreshment up here.
Keske's just shattered the fourth wall and just come onto the live broadcast.
Cracked open a monster.
He would rather be driving. He would much rather be driving than he would talking.
So he does actually have a build in the works, which is the 86 GR86 chassis, and I think you're going to a 6-cylinder. 2J. So he's going to put the 2JZ engine.
Another one. We're not doing the engine thing though, okay? We're not doing that one versus that one. We already had the Pro Sport boys come out and say it was going to be an all 2J podium, which at the moment is still a possibility, although we've got two V8s still in as well. There's a couple of V8s there. Blake and Daniel, of course, with the 2Js. Corbin Wilson, LT4. Darren Murray, 2J, I'm pretty sure. Isaac Aldridge, LS. Sam Rowson, RB. Dean Young is 1.5 JZ. And Guy Maxwell with
25?
20.
30.
I don't know. If you listen to Guy Maxwell, it's like a 20E NA from the wreckers somewhere. It's been put together for the weekend. That car's held together.
I had a couple of 20 cars back in the day, but yeah, they go hard. Not for very long, but they go hard. I had more luck out of the 20 deep.
Well, do you remember, speaking of yesteryear names, Jason Sellers?
Yes.
The 20 DET and the 33 Laurel, the unbreakable motor that went forever, got him onto the podium how many times? And then he went 2J and had nothing but problems with it. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are into the top 32. It is Matty J and Michael Thorley. Matty J Privateer, Psycho JZ up against Michael Thorley for NZ and Valvoline. Obviously still drivers just wanting to get a feel for what the conditions are out there at the moment.
I think Michael Thorley was actually supposed to lead then, but...
no, Michael Thorley's 17, Matty J 16, so very close.
Sorry.
What's happened for Thorley?
Lost in the dirt through the transition, so Matty J looking pretty strong. Now just needs to hold a lap together. And that's sort of the section we've been seeing a lot of drama this morning with the Pro Sport guys, is getting off that second transition out to the outside zone 3. It's super hard to get that car speed dialed in just right with the way that the track is.
I can't. It's a big advantage to Matty J after that first one.
Michael Thorley, former Pro Sport champion in the NZ 180 S6, Matty J.
He won the title in the 33 though, didn't he? Is that Kim's car that she's driving
so,
now?
Yes.
I think. Shout out to Kim and the girls who'll be tuned in. I would actually love to have that confirmed. Is the car that Kim is driving now the same chassis that Michael won his Pro Sport title in, or is it a separate build? I'm not 100% sure on that. So if you know, let us know the answer to that one, Kim. I know I saw you're out there from your stories, out there trying to keep dry up in the grandstand there, and there is a crowd slowly building here, Kenny.
Second pass now for Michael Thorley. Matty J, what's Michael Thorley got in the bag to get up on the wall and sit down a lead run here?
J starts off well down the track there, just trying to slide up the track and close onto the back of the NZ entry of Michael Thorley. Michael Thorley playing it safe then, wanting to make contact. Kenny, that's where you mentioned before, a lot of the drivers have had the problems, and right out here is where we saw a lot of the Pro Sports really struggle with that traction as well.
Michael Thorley choosing to run just slightly off that outer line that we were talking about earlier this morning. Oh, he's tagged the wall though, managed to recover back out of it. It's opened the door for Matty J now to close in.
Well, Michael's already at a disadvantage, so upsetting his lead back to the last thing he would have wanted there, and he will be a little bit frustrated with himself, Michael Thorley, I think, for that one, as we will go down to the pit lane with Stephen, I believe, and we should be able to see a result get locked in.
Yeah, so that tighter line through the teardrop just seems to work a little bit better in these conditions, and just get them through and get back up on the wall. There's other scoring areas that they can improve their points. It's trying to pull that focus away from that outside zone of the teardrop. It's just causing so much drama in these conditions at the moment. So the next pair of cars start their warm-up lap, and then we'll get them into the scrum.
So I just had confirmation that yes, Kim's car is the car that Mike won his Pro Sport title in.
And we await the result. We'll probably head down to the grid shortly. Just lock in the result from Matty J.
Did Kurt Blackie and Sam West manage to crash into each other during practice before Kenny? Is that what I saw happen? Two teammates just whacked each other?
Possibly. Missed most of that session. It's having a break.
Well, look, today is an interesting day in terms of duration. And here's the result locking in, and it is Matty J moving forward. So Matty J moves forward, and he will battle Adam Davies in the 16. So Matty J moves forward, unanimous call.
Fresh delivery from Moorpork
Barbecue in Kumeu, Clint Davies and the team.
Shout out to those guys keeping me fed this afternoon.
On the roof of Adam Davies' car.
Did they warm this on the manifold?
Possibly. If you've ever been near the DSR cars.
It's thermonuclear.
After they come off the track, of course, both of them being turbocharged, those turbos are always glowing.
So next up will be Braden Mayer and Kurt Blackie, which will be
Now so what's happened there? Did Kurt Blackie call us 5?
Called a mechanical 5 minutes.
Kurt didn't move, did he? Kurt sort of sat where he was. So this is Ethan Faithful. He's a Kiwi, isn't he? But he's been living in Australia for about 10 years. Decided to come back behind the wheel of John Atwood's car. I actually thought Scott Dinsdale was supposed to be driving his car this weekend, wasn't he? I think that was the rumour that Scotty D, Scotty D was a Pro Sport champion too, wasn't he? Or was he just a round winner? Just a round, I don't know, something in the water in Northland, you know. There's been a few Pro Sport winners from up that way. And Roddy Knowles, of course, the likeable returning veteran. Drove, I think, last in 2006, 2007, he was telling us, before coming back this season, and oddly enough, had never battled Fanga Dan until this season, in 20 years of drifting. Here we go, Roddy Knowles, Amalgamated Roofing, MTF on the side. MTF, of course, is Justin Patterson, and we will see the Justin Patterson car later on being driven by Connor Callaghan. Faithful just flirting with that yellow line there. So if you were not with us this morning, you may not have heard us say that the yellow line is a 50-point deduction from the lead runner across the yellow line. So something to be very aware of. If you see the lead car cross the yellow line, then 50-point deduction is coming for the lead car. Ethan Faithful surprised everyone. Because we probably didn't have a form guide on. Came out yesterday, didn't he? And he was leading qualifying.
Had some really good results out of D1WA and the Drift Series in Western Australia. A lot of driving over in Australia. Really good run here, and certainly Rody was just going in with him, not afraid at all to get up on the door. So that was a good first lap here from these guys. Got the Ford Barra-powered C33 Lorel with Roddy Knowles running the RB25 DET. So both of them straight 6 turbos. One's out of the Ford camp, one out of the Nissan camp.
I think Roddy's had to do a couple of clutches this season too, hasn't he? He's had a few battles. So next battle after this, we will get our first look at Ryusei Akiba. And because, of course, Ryusei is a Japanese driver, something that was really popular yesterday was Japanese commentary. So we will have Keisuke Nagashima
live
step back in for a couple of calls of Ryusei Akiba's runs. He will, of course, be talking to Ryusei later on down in the pits with Stephen McIver.
Here we go for the second lap now. Trying to get traction from the rear of the car.
Coming down the track, flirting with that line. It's not impacting the chase car as yet. Ethan Faithful looks really comfortable. This looks quite smooth, quite controlled there.
Handbrake in, trying to get to the... He's trying to push to the outer zone, but it's just too dicey. Contact! Takes a loop down at the end of the teardrop.
And that's a frustrated Roddy Knowles there who's turned that car around.
That teardrop has just been way too ice skatey, and it's, like I say, you got to run that tighter line and get through that, just sacrifice that outer zone and focus on the rest of the track.
All right, so we've just had an official call that was Braden Mayer who called the 5 minutes. So, Kenny, if you want to enjoy some sustenance, we'll get Mr. Nagashima in for Ryusei's battle up next. So, Keisuke Nagashima, 2024 Pro Sport champion. Joins me on commentary now, joining us a very valuable addition from Round 4 Manfield. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, mate. How are we going?
We're pretty good so far. We're doing better than Rody Knowles. I think you've known Rody for a while as well, right? He'll be frustrated because he's such a nice guy. His family's here. We saw Bradley earlier, Bex will be somewhere around as well. So they do it as a family. This is what they do. And the call is made, and it is Ethan Faithful. Ethan Faithful goes through, and that will be Rody Knowles' season done.
It was unfortunate for Rody there. I think he had a really good lap up until that point.
What is that? Was it? Now, can you explain to me as well why Ryusei was doing effectively a static burnout on the track before? Is it just something that he likes to do? Or?
To be honest, it's getting the rear tyres up to temp, right? Because the track's so cold. With the water going over it, you need a little bit more grip out of that rear tyre. You've got to get it out somehow, right?
He's just the only one that I've seen sort of almost sit there and just do a static, though. Yeah. Everybody else has kind of turned the wheel on hard lock and then just sort of sat on the brakes. All right, for your listening pleasure, Mr. Nagashima, we'll call this in Japanese.
Okay. じゃあ一応、流星アキバとアダム・ワイテードの追走で、流星の方が壁の上行ってて、まあ結構ギリギリでいけてね、ちょっとだけ当たってるけど、まあいける。アダムもすごい結構近いところで、そこから振り返しで、はい、サイド引いて、そこからまたアウトゾーン引いて、アダムもその分、まあ近く行ってますね。で、流星は一応そのアウトゾーン行って、で振り返し、でアダムちょっと遠いかな、ちょっと分からんけどどうなったのかなっていうところで、流星秋葉がまたアダムが来たんけどちょっとどうなのかな。どういけるかい。まあ、走りじゃないですか。He tapped the wall there, mate.
He did hit the wall at the end there. What's the Japanese word for bugger? Very serious face. So Keisuke talking us through that run there in Japanese.
Yeah, I hope you understood it. But
I understood every single word you said, and it was fantastic. And what I want to say to you is I think the crowd has really appreciated just channeling the early 2000s option vibe as we take a look at the GT Radial replay here. Ryusei Akiba just nicely up there onto that shelf there. Adam Whitehead in the chase position. They're doing a good job closing down onto the rear there, keeping enough distance there where he's not going to get in the way as Ryusei transitions down. Now Adam's got very flat there and found himself trapped. That will be a deduction in the chase position there from chase judge Ben Kai Bruin. I do wish that we'd had the high shot around the teardrop there just to see where Ryusei got to in terms of width on the track there.
But Adam did really well here to close that gap up and get back onto the wall of Ryusei. So Adam actually has a little bit more angle there. Ryusei's on a better line, I think. So it'll be interesting how the judges do.
And then just hit the wall for good measure, just for fun.
Yeah.
If you're going to come to New Zealand, what now? Has he called a 5 off that?
A bit of a love tap. But
but it was the rear wheel though, wasn't it? True. Rear, that would be the rear inner wheel on the chase side, because it'll be on the inside. So it's on the inside. So I wonder if the Halligan team there electing to.
I think Ryusei probably felt that something was wrong with it, so he just wanted to double check. Obviously, the rear of these cars these days with all the tube frames are a little bit softer than what they normally would be with a normal chassis. So just to make sure that wheel is straight and aligned.
Alrighty, next battle is Calvin Clark, the local man, the king of avocados, up against Dan Caldwell for VIP from the South Island. Great to see Dan here behind the wheel of his S15 427, 1200 horsepower at his disposal.
This is what, 200
against Calvin Clark 300 avocados. That's it. It's probably an S. No,
it's God's motor.
Not
it's an SR20.
Is that one still the SR car?
Pretty sure it's
and Cole's got the
RB30.
Cole's got the RB30 car. Yeah. So the two twin green machines.
Mighty SR, mate.
Yeah. Calvin Clark, and it will sound like a Mercury outboard in a steel drum a little bit, but Calvin Clark certainly knows his way around Baypark, and he initiates there, has the rolling burnout entry, which is what the judges have asked for, and round goes Caldwell and dunks the front.
As Calvin comes around back onto the switch. Obviously,
Calvin
he
still
has
has to complete this right here. So
Yes,
Calvin still has to lock in a lead score. So there was a little bit of debate around this yesterday, but the lead car is obliged because we're in lead for lead, chase for chase, to complete his run here. So Calvin needs to make sure he does this nice and clean. I would imagine that he probably is on comms. Just the Armstrong team will have had the comms lying around from Cole's 2 times DK crowns.
How good is that? He's just touched that ball ever so slightly.
Good to see Dan coming back, just building some confidence though, closing out his run there, and he will be a little bit frustrated. Now Luke Fink is driving that car as well, so for those of you who are unaware, Luke Fink grenaded the barn find R32.
Yep.
He then, I thought he did, was he going to jump into one of the other JDM cars and then that one broke as well? Or I'm not quite sure what happened there, but anyways, he ended up behind the wheel of Dan Caldwell's car.
Yes.
And drove it to second last night in qualifying with two 97s. So he certainly knows his way around this track in a V8 powered machine. Dan Caldwell, his turn to put some pressure on here. Calvin Clark, what will he do here with all 300 avocados wound tightly? Dan Caldwell initiates in on the wall. It's on the wall, and there is a tag there. And any tag of the wall which upsets your momentum, Kesko has seen the judges mark down the scores there. And I feel like Calvin's just,
he's playing it safe,
yeah,
mate.
it feels weird to say Calvin's playing it
I
safe,
know.
but I don't think he needs to do anything silly here. He knows he's probably odds on got a pretty tough battle next against Connor.
To be honest, Calvin's a pretty seasoned campaigner. Like, he used to drive that C33, the green C33 as well as the S13. So I think he's playing it safe here. Dan's putting on a show, you know, going onto the wall just as he goes across the finish line, and Calvi's there with him. So
Calvin has been on the podium here, hasn't he? I'm sure I've watched Calvin on the podium here. And certainly in Pro Sport. I don't know that he has been in Pro Sport. Certainly. All right, great to see that Braden Mayer back on track after calling his 5 minutes before the start of the battle. It's a weird looking setup on.
So
shed some light for me, Kesko,
right.
driver, Mr. Technical Man.
Especially in the wet surface, you get a little bit, if you actually bring the offsets of the wheels inside, normally from what you normally have, you get a little bit more roll onto that tyre and you get a little bit more grip. So I assume that's what Kurt's done with the rear of his car, just to get a little bit more grip out of it and make sure that he can be on the chase. So Kurt Blackie in the chase position with Braden Mayer in the lead in the S14.9. Kurt obviously in the GT86 V8 powered machine.
Kesko, some breaking information out of the pits. Ryusei Akiba has broken an axle and has called his 5 minutes. So the Halligan team with some work to do there, or Ryusei potentially faces being eliminated by car. So here goes Braden here. Braden saw his qualifying videos last night.
Oh, bit of contact.
Tagged him.
Braden opted out of that, I think.
Well, I actually thought Braden came down the track too before the end of the initiation there. So I think if you watch the replay, you'll see that he came down and he's almost chopped in front of
Braden's obviously fixed what he was supposed to do in that 5 minute. And I think that issue still is there.
Come across the yellow line. So he would have been on a deduction, and the car just shut down, and Kurt Blackie's just smoked into him. But this is off the back of a 5 minute call, so he doesn't have any more time left to fix that car. So I would say he's probably advised out. Yeah, yep. I think that'll be Braden Mayer done. I'll await official confirmation. But yeah, certainly looking a little bit untidy there for Braden Mayer. Now, if he's gone, what happens here? If he's gone off the track, is that ruled incomplete? Does Kurt still have to? I guess Kurt still has to do this because otherwise it can 0-0.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So just repeating again, Ryusei Akiba has got an axle repair underway in the pits.
I wonder if the Halligan team can beat Mr. Sean Wilson's teams.
Yeah, 4 minutes and 23 seconds.
Record.
Just waiting to see here if the result here. And Calvin Clark goes through. Over Dan Caldwell. So Calvin Clark goes through, and he will battle Connor Halligan. There's a battle that no one will hold back in. Oh, there it is coming up on the screen now. Sorry, we got a little bit of ahead of ourselves. So there's effectively almost zeroed on the chase, on the leads for Matt Kwok, but from a chase perspective, Calvin Clark, and a style perspective, Tony Gallagher awarding the win there to Calvin Clark. So Adam Davies, Matty J, Braden Mayer against, well, Braden Mayer's just gone off the track after calling 5, so we'll wait for an official call on that one. Brody Maher is waiting on Ryusei Akiba to come back.
So
and Connor Halligan goes against Calvin Clark.
Yeah, Ryusei versus Adam. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see him back out there.
Well, I felt like Ryusei's first run probably had the advantage because we did, even though the camera angle was a bit deceiving, it did look like Adam in the chase position flattened out off the transition off the wall. So I think he would have wanted slightly more angle there.
You know, I agree. So hopefully he can come back for that second run.
Yeah, so it looks like this is, I think this is a buy for, if we see him start to slide, I'd definitely say it was a buy run, but he may have just been sent around the track. We'll wait for race control to make a decision there. Sam West and Jordan Joyce should be next. Sam West, Jordan Joyce.
And after that would be Fanger Dan, James McManaway.
Braden Mayer has just forfeited, so Braden Mayer has forfeited. It is Kurt Blackie versus Ethan Faithful in the 16. So Kurt Blackie and Wolfie for RHP go through to the 16. The time can't be very, there can't be much time left for Ryusei Akiba. So here we, well, there's Potros. So mechanical for Sean Potros. It's so weird to watch Sean Potros drive when there's not flames and no limiter and no just clouds of smoke blanketing the whole track.
He's doing a pretty good job there. Ooh, what's he done there? He's very, very sideways along that wall.
Only Sean bends his car on the side. Just Sean
putting on a
doing
show
Sean
for the crowd.
Yeah.
There goes Sean back into the pits. I think he seems pretty happy with that. As we wait for the next couple cars to come back for the battles.
Yeah, so look, I think we might need to talk a little bit maybe about the whole lead for lead, chase for chase thing in terms of a scoring perspective, right? Because it probably does get confusing to some viewers who are still thinking about things in the old style where effectively you have the tipping scale, right? You're always looking at that tipping scale of the 6-4, 4-6, whatever, and it comes back to a draw. But under the scenario that we're now running, because you've got a lead for lead and a chase for chase, if you basically have a run where you've got a huge advantage, you don't actually have to go and do a right on the door close proximity chase, because you can afford to be marked down slightly, particularly where you're at a massive advantage. It's probably not what people think of in terms of the way the sport has traditionally been.
Yeah.
But under the scenario that we now have with a lead for lead, if you're looking effectively at a run where you get an 85, so if you had like an 85, right, and then your chase is going to be still a 70, right, even if the guy comes out and gets a 90, he's still not going to beat you if he's looped on his chase run. So you don't need to do anything silly, particularly in conditions like this where you put your car at the risk of being damaged. Because
whilst I agree with you,
oh,
right,
good, we're going to have a disagreement on here. Good. Excellent.
Well,
Let's go.
No, it's not a disagreement. I mean, this is my personal opinion on it, right? So, I mean, drifting is all about a performance. It's a show, right? And the boys really do, and the girls, want to put on a show for the crowd. So they do. At the end of the day, it depends down on what they do with their spotters. So if their spotters actually tell them, right, that, you know, the guy behind them has spun out, or the lead, obviously the lead, they'll see if they've spun out.
Yeah.
And they play it safe, then it'd be all right.
Yeah.
But sometimes, you know, depending on how much room or how they actually spot, whether it's through your phone or whether it's through comms. If it's not through comms, you don't have much time to actually look at your phone when you're coming back around onto the start line. So sometimes you just go, oh, it felt good, he was right there. You're looking, you know, sometimes he's on your door, you see a bonnet, and you really need to send it as well.
Yeah, look, I think my perspective a little bit is I get the whole thing about it being a show. But you're only in the show for as long as your car is not damaged, right?
Yep.
So if you come out and then smoke into a car that you were 100 points ahead of, who spins in front of you or something because they're just not that confident or their setup's wrong, all you're doing is robbing your fans, your spectators, your sponsors of the chance to see you in the 16.8. So that's more what I was getting at in terms of...
So like a perfect example, that would have been Calvi.
Okay, how did you hear that announcement?
I did.
Announce it in Japanese and then translate it.
一応Ryusei Akiba君選手がリタイアっていう形でもういけないっていう感じですわ。
So what Keisuke just said was, unfortunately, Ryusei Akiba has retired from competition. They could not get the axle done in time, so Ryusei Akiba has retired and Adam Whitehead will go through and face Brody Maher.
Which is a shame. It would have been good to see Ryusei do well in this competition, but well done to him. Obviously, he's only been here for 2 days, and good effort.
Do you remember we used to let people out for those wild entertainment laps in between? That was when we were in a time certain broadcast, right? We used to have, I think one year we had pretty much all of the top 4 go out early. And then they all came back and just laid down absolutely, you talk about entertainment, just wild runs and just came out and just blazed and blazed and blazed. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I do love Baypark for that atmospheric type thing, and I'm sure you'd agree. I mean, having been out there in front of thousands of people, when you kind of hear them and you can feel them.
It's the atmosphere that Baypark gives is nothing, like no other circuit in New Zealand. A lot of all the fans, all the guys, spectators watching, you know, and just clapping and cheering for all the drivers. Like it's a special experience.
There's no other track in New Zealand that replicates it, right? Because Mount Smart it doesn't have the same cauldron amphitheater type atmosphere where normally the smoke, the noise all gets trapped inside. I guess you could probably reference Wellington, maybe could be similar, but again, it doesn't have the same enclosed type stands.
It's not a stadium course, right? So
I'd love to bring back the old car park drift. To be fair, did you ever do that?
No, I did Mount Smart before it was a course, right. But that's as close as I got.
But
to
not
the car
here.
park. Not here.
Not here.
Yeah, that was fun. I was here for that, and I watched it, and it was actually a really cool atmosphere to be a part of. So
yeah. We'll see. I wonder if we can actually get a replay. Did we actually see the axle brake for Akiba? Is that what? Oh, was it when they slapped the wall?
I think it was when So normally when you snap axles, is that when you?
Somebody's just saying to us, you could see it after he slapped the wall when you saw the wheel just wobble around. Unfortunately,
the axle snaps when there's a sudden shock impact and stops the wheel. And obviously the diff's still turning, and it just snaps the splines or the CV at that point. So,
and it can make a big mess, right? Like as much as we've seen the guys, 4 minutes and 23 seconds for Sean Wilson and the Drift Fox team replacing axles. Unfortunately,
I think the back of that car is still R200 GDR diff, so it'd be the 6 and the spline axle. Where with a quick change is a little bit different, right?
So we do. I think Corbin does have a Winters in the back of his car, but I don't know that Connor's backup car.
It's a GDR. It's a
All right, Sam West next to go, Mr. West the Pest, and Jordan Joyce. These will be 2 of the protagonists, I would imagine, at the after function this evening. So they'll be entertaining now and they'll be even more entertaining later on. And again, I will mention that if you do want to hang out with the drivers, you can do so this evening. Go down and see the team at Thrill Supply Co. and they will point you in the right direction.
Good Sam West in the lead. Chase doing a good job keeping that proximity, and Sam gets onto the line. He's oh no!
That's that steering thing again, isn't it?
I don't know. It was hard to tell that one. It happened pretty quickly.
What have we seen the last 3-4 rounds? It's gone to full lock
And just probably bound?
It hasn't wanted to come back.
Yeah.
And I've spoken to Sam in the pits about it, and he said to me that it goes to a certain point and it gets stuck.
I think he's been having power steering issues all season as well, so it probably has something to do with that. Fortunately for Sam West.
Don't think he's done anything significant damage-wise, right? Like it's just the rear hanging off there. So that's just, I mean, that's normal. That's Sam West,
It's pretty normal. Just have to see if what Sam does, whether he stays on or calls 5. No, he's staying on. He's gridded back up to the start line. So.
Yeah, it's just. I think it literally just was that steering again, right? It just went and didn't come back. So his job now, as we see, Launchmaster Willie, who we mentioned earlier, is not supposed to actually be, I don't think, doing anything down there on the start line, and that is Joel, I believe, head of our technical team down there, just removing the rear bumper off Sam West's car.
Removing and making sure the tail light doesn't fall out. There's something
I think
going
they're just
on
going
with...
to try and remove Jordan's front. I think it's probably flapping around, and Jordan won't want to have... I think what Jordan would be concerned about there would be if it came loose and trapped under the front wheel on lock, then obviously he'd have no steering. He'd just end up in the wall, right? Which is not something you want to have happen here at Baypark, because those walls are very unforgiving. Have you belted the wall here, did you?
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Yeah?
Thanks for reminding me.
Was it a big one?
Yeah, it was a big one.
Well, look, I like reminding any other person who's also hit a speedway wall. I like reminding them of it, because between me and Kwok and Tony G, we've hit a few speedway walls in New Zealand.
Yeah, it wasn't my finest moment, but we were still back out there. Like the chassis rails were gone, the rear chassis rails were gone, whole rear panel. It was still all before I went tube frame, so hence why we went tube frame.
Right, so while we've just got some tidy ups on the cars going on here, do you want to shed any more light on your plans potentially, or is this keep your eye on 86 Fighters drift page kind of thing? You don't want to give everything away now?
Yeah, I can't give everything away at the moment. Obviously, we do have the GR86, which I think will be the first one in Oceania as a pro drift car. We've got a couple of partners on board like GK Tech, that have supplied a lot of the steering arms, so and 5x114 conversions for the hubs and that type of thing. So no, it's been interesting. It's one of those things where I've driven an old A86 with non-power steering, live axle rear, and 450 horsepower, and I want to make it a little bit easier on myself because I'm getting older. I feel.
Welcome to the club.
Yes.
We've all been around a fair few years these days, fair few grey hairs on the head. That's why we all keep wearing caps on TV, by the way, if anyone wonders. Oh, that tape's come loose straight away for Jordan Joyce. I hope that bumper stays intact there. Jordan Joyce initiating up onto the shelf there. Needs to get a little bit higher up, but Jordan Joyce will also know that Sam West has turned in front of him and effectively delivered him an unchaseable lead. So you see Sam, those repairs for all that time has made no difference.
Well, Jordan, he's gone off.
That's a 0-0. We're going to go one more time. That'll be 0-0 one more time.
I think so. Jordan with his hand out the window when he span. Going for a rodeo. He's loving it. I mean, it is so treacherous out there for these guys. I mean, the concrete, right, thrust concrete with water, and you don't get to drive, like you said, out Baypark once a year. It's very, very hard for these guys to adapt to the conditions. So.
I don't think we talk enough about the fact that you can't drive Taupo reverse. You can't drive Manfield on a regular basis. You can't drive Mount Smart. You can't drive Baypark. We actually test our drivers very, very intensely within the course of the D1NZ season because we run a whole lot of custom stuff that you just cannot get access to on a regular basis. I mean, a lot of the tracks in New Zealand now too also have a rule where you can't run a semi-slick tyre, right? On a testing day, there's only certain events that you're allowed to run a semi-slick. So for someone like you, if I think about that in the context of what you're describing, you're going to go and take a GR86, which no one's really got a blueprint for, and then you're going to try and get a formula together for it in very limited testing. So Stephen giving the one more time sign there. He's still smiling.
Yeah.
He's still smiling. Sam West will still be smiling. Jordan will be annoyed. He'll get the boys to get the polishing rags out.
Oh, he was doing the shaka out the window, man. I think he's still having fun.
I won't lie. I would like to see that polished frame rig something. I think that'd be quite fun.
I've seen those Facebook videos where there's a crane, a motorbike doing all sorts of things going round and round. I think you do that with brick car. That's pretty fun.
James McManaway, boss man of the JDM team, and Daniel Wilhouse. Kesko, this has the potential to be quite ruthless. Both of these drivers are, how should we describe this? Not renowned for holding back, not known for mechanical sympathy, and not known for leaving rear quarters on cars. And I'm pretty sure I have seen James McManaway attempt to audition for the Baypark Busters in the past and just about straight line someone off the end of here before. So yeah, let's watch and see what happens, because Fang is certainly going to have the speed as a higher qualifier to run.
He's going to have the speed.
It's just going to be a question of what James is going to do in the chase.
He's going to have the speed, he's going to have the experience, right? And the technique to be able to put that car, that Mustang, that big Mustang, which is left-hand drive, so obviously he's starting off initiating into the wall.
He talks about this, doesn't he? Quite often he references the fact that he is the only driver who has to initiate into this section on the wall. And it's quite bizarre for him.
Yeah, whether that's an advantage or disadvantage just depends on the driver. But
well, I think if there's anyone else, right? Fangadan's an interesting guy, right? We took him to World Time Attack one year, and the Australians thought he was insane because he came out to Sydney Motorsport Park and just
like he's doing right here, onto the wall, and Fanga on the wall. Oh, James in the wall. That's a aim of Fanga.
That was going to happen.
Oh, it's all gone wrong for James, unfortunately.
I don't feel like that was too much of a crystal ball read, right? That was pretty much what happened last night.
Yeah. Fanga keep going. Oh, he's off too.
But it's just one wheel, so he can complete this run, so it'll be a deduction, but it will not be well, assuming she makes it back around the track.
Fanga comes back onto the wall, and he's riding it pretty high, doing a very good job there, using the brake to get back onto the wall.
He's not buried in it.
He's not buried, yeah.
He's not buried in it.
True. It's a good run for Fanga there in the lead. Unfortunately for James McManaway, kind of went a little bit pear-shaped in the initiation there.
Car a little tap on the roof.
Yep, I think he's going to call staff.
Was he saying it's all good, or is he calling for his boys to come and check his crew to come and check the car's mechanically safe? Because I don't think you really want to be initiating in if your steering's slightly bent.
It looked like it was a little bit, it was hobbling as he was going back, so, yeah.
All right, and official call comes through. McManaway calls a 5 after the contact with the wall, so I'd imagine we'll move forward to Jeremy Slammett, Clayton Daly, rather than waiting, because we are relatively time certain here in terms of we need to move to our Sky TV KO broadcast. So for those of you who are wondering who's in what car, that is James McManaway driving the 180SX with the Turbo LS in it. That is the car that Laurie Heinonen drove. Luke Fink is driving the Daniel Caldwell VIP frame and truss entry. Jeremy Slammett is the other JDM car, of course, the Supra. Ben Hodges, unfortunately, hasn't actually been able to make a start this weekend, so we haven't seen him. And the barn find is dead.
So I think that the Ben Hodges S15 Dolphin is lifted to J, which is a shame. And yes, like I said, the JDM barn on R32, that's also...
There's a photo doing the rounds. It's now it's got a letterbox size hole in the block, I believe. So from Friday afternoon practice, Friday night, something like that. And then Dan Caldwell stepped up and said, "Here you go, Luke. You can compete in my car." So the storyline really reads: Luke Fink chases Case Pullenberry's 442 points total for a season best.
For the championship, yep. So obviously Clayton and Aidan Daly's S14, which is a Pro Sport car, and gets Jeremy Slammett in the lead here as he initiates onto the wall. Below there, I mean, Clayton's done a good job to stay in proximity, and up goes Jeremy into the wall. And they're both keeping really, really good proximity across that wall as they come off and switch back into the teardrop there. Or Aidan doing a little bit of a mischief to himself. And Jeremy also doing the same thing. So
it's so greasy out there, dude.
It looks very top of marble. As they switch back to come back onto the wall, Jeremy's doing a good job there as he tries to get back up. Clayton do a good job to follow in.
What do you do there? I mean, do you just try and sit a metre inside the marble or something and sacrifice the line? Or do you
just try and your best to hold that line, because once you commit, you're there, right?
So we are making our way through the Pro top 32 at the moment. Then we move into our 16, and then we will move to our Pro Sport top 8. Then we'll come back. Actually, I think after this we move to our Pro Sport top 8, and then we go to the top 16, which was scheduled to have an introduction in the program, but I'd imagine with the various incidents and things that have gone on today, we may lose that out of the program, just being an event that does need to be finished by its curfew. Baypark rules pretty hard and fast, Kiske, no matter who's running here, whether it's Speedway, whether it's us, whether it's any other event.
There's no discrimination around here.
Alrighty, away they go again, and it is Clayton. Clayton and Aidan's car. Oh no, don't make Seaton and Tash angry with me.
I know, mate.
Forgetting which kid is which.
But Jeremy's doing a good job there, adjusting and keeping that proximity where Clayton is going into that outer zone here. And how's his line? He's adjusting. Yeah, he's very close.
Inside, eh? He's got too far inside and just choked himself up. Molly, so is that just over eager, biting off too much?
Could be. I mean, I think there's a lot of wheel speed involved there with the rear wheel just spinning to get any type of grip on the surface at the moment. But Clayton did an awesome job. Oh, look at them both lined up as they cross the finish. This will be interesting. See how the judges decide that one.
Yeah, so just if you were wondering what happened earlier, Sam West, Jordan Joyce, OMT, and Daniel Wilhouse awaiting James McManaway to return to track after McManaway contacted the wall and called a 5-minute, and we now await a decision for Jeremy Slammett, Clayton Daly. I'm mystified as to how Johnny Latham controls that TRT NASCAR motor. Surely the NOS isn't going to be purging in these types of conditions.
I think he's turned the NOS off.
It'll be a million horsepower.
Yeah.
What is that car? Is it 950? Is this 900 horse shot? Yeah, it's like near on 1,000 horsepower.
So the reason why you put NOS, especially in the TRD or the NASCAR V8, is that they don't actually have too much low down. So you put the NOS in at the very bottom to get it back up to a torque band where it's usable. But in the rain, you kind of probably don't need that torque band to be coming on so hard. So I would think he turned it off.
Let's go. We don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I mean, I think it's so on off, but then we did have some information last night too that he can't actually change the way it delivers the power because it's not possible to get a heavier flywheel to slow down delivery. So he is basically just, it is modulation. It's just juggling that throttle to try and make that car some sort of drivable animal.
Good bolts on the 4-pin, Kenny says. So.
Oh.
Danger to manifold.
Motec system. It's got a Motec system exhaust in it. Oh no, things are going downhill if we're starting to make those references already.
Stocky Griffin goes onto the wall and Johnny tags him, and the bumper is falling off, whereas Johnny's done a good job to adjust to that as they come off the wall into the switchback zone. Handbraking to make that out of zone. There's Stocky going to make it? No.
Johnny Latham's not the only one who's just getting those tyres fast enough to make a 4-mile tyre smoke. It's creating that much fuel speed.
As Stocky comes back onto the wall there, and he's doing a good job getting onto that wall and staying there. And Johnny Latham also on the wall, so not much proximity, but line-wise.
So a call has been made, and it is Clayton Daly going through over Jeremy Slemmett. So Clayton Daly going through over Jeremy Slemmett. We apologise that we're not able to show you the totem on screen at the moment. We are just trying to work through the program, having had a few hiccups so far through the course of the program today. We do of course need to at some point switch out onto our Sky TV and KO broadcast. Looks a little bit like the precipitation has returned, Kesko.
Yeah, it's been a bit on and off here at Baypark with the rain coming in and off, but it does look like it's raining quite hard. The wipers are on, so yep, no, it's definitely raining.
Oh. There are two cars in behind there. It is Johnny Latham and Alex Stocky Griffin. And hopefully, Johnny, hopefully that car stays off the wall.
Stocky's at the wall, and Johnny's actually spun out too.
Now that will zero out both of those runs, so
will depend.
Will we have one more time, or will we have a decision made off a lead versus a chase? Maybe if Tony G has a perspective style-wise, then potentially we could get a 2-1 off that. Maybe I don't know. Sort of
the other way you could look at it is if Stocky actually saw that Johnny was going into the wall and kind of stopped mid-drift. But
I think Stocky was in the wall before Johnny went round.
True. He loves that wall, doesn't he? So there's a bit of damage to Stocky's front wheel there.
That's not going to be easily fixable.
Yeah, that's definitely a tie rod broken at least. He's doing well. He didn't need the transporter truck to get off the track. He's going reverse. Back it up, Terry. Is he going to be able to get off?
I don't know if he's going to be able to turn, is he?
I don't think so. He's going to give it a go.
All right, so we will update you shortly with what is going to happen here in terms of... that wheel's just flopped completely, Kesko. That's broken, so... we just had a confirmation that we'll be on Sky TV, KO, etc. at 5 p.m. Just awaiting an update in terms of what will happen with the live stream. I assume that may...
Yeah,
it will go down just before 5, so we'll keep showing you as much as we can and then bring up another stream straight away afterwards. So we will endeavour not to have anything happen that you aren't able to see, but again, we are a time certain event here, so needs must, and we will obviously make sure that any runs that are missed are available via Oversteer TV as a replay. Have you ever seen anyone back down the chute like that before?
No, that was the first time I've ever seen that, and it looked like Stocky had a centre exit exhaust too, so he's done well to get off track there, to keep the other boys moving as we
so
see.
He's just going to hard cut us, and can he take the stream down, or what's the story?
So we see Cole Armstrong and Sam Edinburgh.
Shout out to Ryan from RJ and Plumbing, who was crewing for Cole this weekend. Thank you, Ryan, for coming and actually fixing my bathroom late on Thursday night before I had to come down here. Ryan saved me. So RJ and Plumbing for your plumbing needs in Auckland, or Armstrong Plumbing and Drainage for your plumbing needs here in the Tauranga area. So Sam Edinburgh, Cole Armstrong. Sam Edinburgh out of the VIP team from Christchurch, I believe. The story goes, I think Dan is frame and truss, and then Sam is VIP steel. I think Sam is the engineer of the family, so to speak.
Cole Armstrong comes to lead as he initiates onto the wall. Yes, that'll be good. Oh, and he's tagged the wall there, and he's riding it quite well high up into that line.
Oh, that's just Cole. He's done this heaps of times. Like Cole Armstrong, seriously, has probably done more laps around this place than just about anyone else. So he knows the thing like the back of his hand, right? Who was probably the first person to tattoo the wall? Probably Cole Armstrong.
Sam's done a pretty good job there to keep proximity on Cole as they come into the switch. I think he's switched a little bit early and kind of been a bit greedy there as they come back onto the Ripco wall ride. And Cole's doing an absolute awesome job being up on that high line and settling.
Right, so interesting call being made there. Alex Griffin, who hobbled back off the track, got the win. Right, so they obviously went back to the first run, got a result, 0-0'd on the second pass, and yeah, result locks in.
He's got a little bit of time to fix that car before the top 16.
Yes, this is.
So just running through results as they are locked in at the moment. Adam Davies will battle Matty J. Kurt Blackie will battle Ethan Faithful. Brodie Marr will battle Adam Whitehead. Connor Halligan against Calvin Clark. Luke Fink is still waiting for an opponent between Sam West, Jordan Joyce, and Daniel Wilhouse. We're waiting to see if James McManaway can be repaired. And Clayton Daly has gone through over Jeremy Slammett. Sean Boltroff is not working with Alex Griffin. And Dave Stevens, the winner of this battle at Edinburgh.
And the wall.
Kisses the wall hard, and then
it upsets Cole's line.
now so that's going to be an example of, I think, Edinburgh's kind of caused that by tagging the wall. Cole's just following him, trying to trust him, and we discussed earlier that whole active inactive chase thing, right? That's the risk you run if you want to go in hot against a driver that you maybe don't know that well on it.
Yeah, I mean, if Sam actually didn't hit the wall as much of an impact as he did, I think it would have been a different call there, but yeah, Cole did so.
Alrighty, so we are getting some information coming through that we may be off air shortly, just as we transition across to our Sky TV and KO broadcast, so we'll be back up as soon as we possibly can, so we haven't gone away. Okay, so he keeps telling us that we're getting cut off at 4:30.
The stream is off at 4:30. We've got half an hour until we go back on Sky.
And is the track going to run in the interim, or are we just doing nothing?
Stand by on that.
So just bringing you up to speed with the program. So we are in the Pro Sport Top 32 looking for our 16. Then we move across to our Pro Sport Top 8. That features Blake Miles, Daniel Edwards, Corbin Wilson, Darren Murray, Isaac Aldridge, Sam Rowson, Dean Young and Guy Maxwell, and they are all competing basically for the overall Pro Sport podium as well as the round win. And that will be taking place before we begin our Pro Top 16. So we'll have Pro Sports Top 8, then our Pro Top 16. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we've been advised that we are cutting the proceedings now, and we'll be back live approximately 5 p.m. this afternoon with the Pro Sport Top 8 and the Pro Top 16.